Hi, and welcome to another installment of Math Basics, Mr. Besh. We're still in the navigating the coordinate plane unit, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to use the point-slope formula to construct an equation of a line. Now, I have all this colored coded for you. Here's our point-slope formula. The formula is y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x1. Basically, what we're going to do is there are three values I have located up here that are different in color. y1, m, and x1. When I use the point-slope formula, here is what I need. I need to have a point. They have to give me a point value, an x1 and a y1 value. Notice that every ordered pair you have, the first term is always x, the second term is always y. And what happens is, in that point, the first term, the x1, is the value that I'm going to substitute into the formula. Okay? Please note the color coding because these are where the values go. Everything in my math formula I have at the top that is labeled in blue stays exactly the way you see them. And then last but not least, I have my slope. We know that's my rise over my run. That green value goes exactly where you see that for m. So let me show you how this is used in action, okay? First and foremost, here's my point-slope formula. Now, to do a math problem, they have to give me a point and a slope, just like this. So now what I do is I substitute the values in exactly like I see them. I put the x1 value in for that, the y1 value in for that, and then the slope value as well. Now I need to simplify using my prior knowledge, the distributive property, double negatives, and solving an equation for a specific variable. All of these are concepts we've done already throughout the year. So now the first step that I have here, remember, on the left side of my equation, minus 4 makes that a plus 4. On the right-hand side, I needed to distribute negative 2 times x, which gives me negative 2x, and then a negative 2 times the second term, which is negative 3, gave me positive 6. Now, my goal is to solve this equation and get y by itself. So my next method is to take 4 away from both sides. Remember, the opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. And then when I'm all said and done, I get my answer, which is y is equal to negative 2x plus 2. This is my equation in slope-intercept form, and this is what I'm trying to do. All right? My first example, I gave you a point, and my slope here is negative 2. My second example, very similar. My slope being positive now. My point being negative 2 comma 5. So now filling in the blanks exactly the way I see them in my equation, changing nothing. All right? Now I have y minus 5 equals 4 times the quantity x minus 2. Notice my little rainbow there. Remember in math, anytime you see two minus signs in a row like that, we need to make them a plus before we do any multiplication at all. So now, when we simplify this guy, y minus 5 on the left-hand side, and on the right, 4 times x gives me 4x, and then 4 times a positive 2 gives me positive 8. Now, my job, remember, is I want to get y by itself. So then I have to get rid of that pesky minus 5. And the opposite of minus 5 is plus 5 to both sides. And then last but not least, I get my answer, which is y equals negative 4x plus 13. Now, please note that when I'm adding and subtracting values from both sides, they need to follow the rules for like terms. When I add a number, I need to add it to another number. I cannot add numbers to numbers that have letters. Remember the rules from like terms. Last but not least, the third example, I wanted to show you what happens when your slope is a fraction. No big deal, don't panic, it's basically done exactly the same way. You plug in your values in your equation. Notice there's nothing to simplify firsthand, so now all I have to do is the distributive property on the right. So then 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. And then when I take 1/2 times a negative 3, if you're more comfortable, notice what I did. I made them decimals. I made 1/2 0.5, and I multiplied it by negative 3. You get 1.5. Okay, so that's a negative 1.5 over here, or minus 1.5. And last but not least, do the opposite of minus 4 to both sides. That's plus 4 to both sides. And when I'm all said and done, my equation of my line in slope-intercept form is y equals 1/2 x plus 2.5. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is using the point-slope formula to identify an equation of a line. I hope you found this both helpful and informative. And that is that.